Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Cone Racing League. Here again with myself, CRL IV as your host, returning from a nice little week's absence due to a little bit of seasonal illness. But I am back, and I am joined tonight by what a guest I have. We've already had a head admin this season. We've of course had the graphical genius, that's AJ Wuhan. This week, we've got what I would describe as CRL's favourite uncle. It's of course CRL_Real DC. Dan, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
I am good, my Scottish friend. How are you?
Can't complain, mate. Can't complain. We've got a cracker of a Grand Prix ahead of us tonight, I feel. Portuguese Grand Prix, very, very new to the game, making the debut here for Tier 4 tonight around the sunny, or maybe wet Portuguese Algarve. But I'm sure it's going to be an exciting one, and even more exciting knowing I've got such a man such as yourself sitting beside me in the comms box here.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. It's definitely a fan favourite track as well. You can see in the server all week, they've all been excited to race it, and I'm happy to have it in the league and in our calendar at such short notice. I believe everyone else agrees, and I just can't wait to get going.
Absolutely. I think pretty much everybody, apart from every relentless voucher, of course, still a bit upset over the removal of China, I think, but he'll just have to get on with that. He's having a good enough season as it is. Okay. But of course, what a season it's been so far. What a season it's been so far, especially down here in Tier 1. Of course, this is our return of the week. We had a break week last week. Not so much for these guys. They had the little rerun of Canada that, Codemasters just didn't want to give them a race. But they're back again for part 2 of the season, round 7 of 15. So we thought, while we wait for the guys here, they're just getting the lobby set up, getting ready to go. Why not take you a little memory lane over the past 6 weeks and go round by round and show you the full drivers and constructors standards. What do you think about that, DC?
Yeah, let's do it, mate. Let's do it.
So, starting off, we of course kicked off. I just realised I was talking to myself there because for some reason my mic was not on this channel. But we started off round 1 around the sunny, wet circuit of Great Britain at Silverstone with CRL Digweed, our previous admin and Mercedes driver, taking pole. Wee Cammy, though, coming through in the race to take the first win of the season, followed very shortly by Hedgehog 11 and Piero rounding off the podium for round 1. Round 2 saw us go shortly across the English Channel to the Circuit de Paul Ricard in France, a special of our very own CRL Do Well and a home of lovely, lovely chicanes. Hedgehog 11 bouncing back from a P2 in Silverstone to take pole. Fortunately couldn't do it from the race, and it was Reverend Melvin off the McLaren taking the win, followed shortly by AFL and the Maverick rounding off the podium. That followed on very, very shortly the next week by round 3. Round 3, of course, saw us jump over the border again into the Netherlands for what is essentially a debutant track this season in the real F1. Of course, we had it last year on the game, but a new track to the modern calendar in a way, and Mark Wilson was the man to take the win. Reverend Melvin, falling off from his win in France, put it on pole and got the fastest lap, but could only manage P2 in the race with MUFC Harvey. A man that you're about to see in the next few slides is not one to be slept on. He got P3 in that race. Shortly after, we of course went across the border again. You're doing your bit for the environment here, DC, with this calendar, keeping the miles down. I've got to applaud it. Of course, went across the border.
Yeah, get the mileage down.
You got to keep the mileage down, keep them engines in good nick. We went across the border into another region of the Benelux, home of one of the drivers herself, our very own Wild Dog, to Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, where MUFC Harvey put it on pole. I think I've got the fastest laps in the polls mixed up for a few of the previous races there. But anyway, we'll continue. But Hedgehog 11, he was waiting so long for this. He was desperate for another podium. He got that in Silverstone, and he finally got his win here in Spa. AFL, again taking second. And Mark Wilson, P3 merchant in this division, shall I say, getting the final podium spot.
Definitely a fan favourite win, that one, Hedgehog, especially with the unbelievably brave strategies going to the mediums when the rain started. But unfortunately for him, it all paid off, and he's now the Einstein of the server.
Of course, I remember, I unfortunately couldn't commentate that night, but I remember sitting in the chat he was getting a little bit of grief, shall we say, for the medium, but...
I'm not proud to admit I was one of them.
I kind of thought you'd say that, Dan. But of course, after that, we took a trip across the Atlantic into Canada, Montreal. The race that caused the trouble that it had to be run twice. MEFC Harvey taking pole and the win here, kicking off. Maybe a poor start to the early few rounds, but really starting to show his pace, starting off from this Canadian Grand Prix. Reverend Melvin again up there for the McLaren, and Mark Wilson once again getting a P3 there, with Wild Dog getting a P4. A nice little recovery drive from his season that hadn't gone too well so far. But of course, in round 6, technically our latest round, unless you go chronologically, then it was our second latest round, but for simplicity's sake, it was round 6. We went across the Pacific Ocean to Japan. The historic circuit of Suzuka, which saw the man, the myth, the Wild Dog taking his first CRL, not only podium, but a win. Mean Man Moody, of course, a man that's been around for so long in this league, getting a well-deserved pole in there, and Mark Wilson making it a free podium, P3 podium appearance. So, after all that, you probably wonder what the driver's standing looked like, and what a...
No, I have no idea what you're talking about, Scott.
I've just realised I forgot to turn my mic on for this slide again. You couldn't have heard me. But yeah, AFL at the top with 138. Shortly behind us, Reverend Melvin in the McLaren, 129. We don't mind that because we're in the McLaren, blah, blah, blah. We've heard the jokes, but you didn't. Mark Wilson, Mr. P3, is again in P3. 124 points, only 14 off the top, with Hedgehog 103. Shortly further back, though, MEFC Harvey and Mean Man Moody. 40 and 41 points apiece, meaning any one of these 6 drivers, depending on results tonight, could see themselves climb top with, of course, 41 points available. Further down to the next pack, Wee Cammy in 7th, Piero, Wild Dog, Drone, completing the top 10. The Maverick, Tomo Tip Top, maybe having a slightly unfortunate start to the season, I would say. We know he's got pace, we've seen what he's raced before. Atomic shortly behind. He's a man to watch out with. He's been racing so far with no setups, and he's finally figured them out. So I'm quite interested to see what happens with him. He'll be shooting up them standards, I do hope so. Not just because he's a Scotsman, of course, but AEK shortly behind with Scott Gay and Riordan, a man that stepped in the Canadian Grand Prix. Only done 2 races as a reserve, and now getting a full-time driver. He's in 26 points, so maybe one to watch. Maybe not a title challenge, but definitely a top position in this, with Spider Rob, Crash Gaming, Greg's Game Centre, and another fan favourite, previous reserve, but back into a full-time seat of BX37 Pro, completing the bottom of the table. Constructors' standings, of course, are across all 4 tiers, and it's no surprise, looking at the results we've had, that Mercedes, McLaren and Williams are at the top. They are Academy, or Tier 4 drivers, should I say. That was a bad slip of the tongue. They have been doing the work, and that has seen them 3 teams over 100 points clear of the next rivals, Red Bull. But what a battle in the midfield as well. Red Bull, Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri very close together. Haas and Alpine not far behind, and even Aston Martin. Ferrari, yeah, having a little bit of a shocker. Wild Dog, Spider Rogues, especially in this division, have struggled so far, but Wild Dog bouncing back with good results. It's a long season. Anything can happen. One thing to note, though, last season Mercedes were top until the final round, bottled it to a team that was at the bottom after round 1. Now, where were McLaren after round 1, Dan?
We were
at the bottom.
We were right at the bottom, right rock bottom. Clawed it back, 21 points behind. We are coming for you, Mercedes. I mean, I have to keep no bias. You carry on.
Of course. So you've heard it here first. McLaren's going to win the constructors. But anyway, I suppose we should hurry up before, because that is, 1:15. I'm sure they're already on track. I can't actually see.
They are.
They are. Right, we'll hurry on through. We're here, of course, at the sunny Algarve of Portugal. 4.6 kilometres long, 15 turns, 6 to the left, 9 to the right. And, of course, making its season debut here today. Making its F1 debut last season due to the global issues we've all been suffering from together. But we'll say less of that because Google and YouTube are not keen on them words. But we'll get back into the qualifying, I suppose. We've nearly timed it perfectly, I would say.
I think we have everyone. I think there's about 10 to 12 drivers on their out laps now. It's with who's leading the pack. It is Kami is the first car that's going to cross the line for his hot lap.
Well, we'll get on board with him and let him take us a spin around the circuit of Portugal, or as it's also known, the Autodromo Internacional Algarve.
Oh, I'll give you a 10 out of 10 for that pronunciation. I would have butchered that.
It's a Scottish slang there, mate. It can just...
You've got the twang.
It got the twang, that's it, man.
You can roll those R's.
19 drivers tonight, though. It was supposed to be a full grid. All full-time drivers supposed to be taken to the track, so I'm not quite sure who we're missing. Is it a Haas? I think it is a Haas.
Let me just have a quick look. You entertain the lovely viewers. I'll have a look for you.
It'll be a while since I've entertained anybody, Dan. I'll be honest with you. But
no
we'll
comment, mate, no comment.
We'll try our best. Kami here coming through the sighting sector up to the sweeping right-hander. Very, very interesting corner. There is, depending who you ask, several lines to take, but we'll see in the race. I think it'll be a prime overtaking opportunity if anybody is feeling strong enough. Kami, of course, getting the purple sector too, because he will be the first to set it. The final long right-hander, I suppose, coming up here. And you've been showing up already, DC. It was Spider Rob to set the first time, a 1:19.2 of the Ferrari.
So get the rustiness out of the way.
Easy mistake to make, but Kami blitzing that time already. 8 tenths up, a 1:18.4. BX Pro and 19.5, all he can manage further behind. We're going to jump on board now with Mr. Pole. He set the 4 last pole times. MEFC Harvey, he's just starting his lap, so we'll see what sort of performance he can put in. He will definitely be one to watch here. Looks as if he's already done a lap time, however. 1 lap old softs, so must have had a little invalidation. It's very easy around this track, very easy not only to invalidate but to spin. Of course, we've got crucial traction points, I suppose you would call them. Turn the exit of turn 4, that left-hander at the midpoint of sector 1. The uphill right-hander of turn 8 is a very, very tricky one. You've got to be very twitchy there, and even on the exit of turn 10, that sweeping sort of multi-entry, and just as we say it, what was it we said earlier, Swan Lake, we've had the first...
Was it? That was the one.
We've had the first spin of the night. It is MEFC Harvey, but while I was muttering on about that, Hedgehog, another man to watch out for, championship contender, of course. He has put in a 1:18.3. Times are already starting to get towards the low 18s. I think we'll see a 17 in these guys tonight, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I think so. I'll be predicting I'll predict a 17.6.
17.6.
I'm confident in these tier 4 boys. I am.
I'm a little less confident. I think it'll be a 78, but we'll bet. How about that? We'll bet a glass of water, because we shouldn't be betting anything else, of course. We shouldn't be betting, of course, but there we go. Drawing a 1:18.1. Maybe I will be eating my words here. That's quite a quick time from
Maybe.
He's shown a bit of pace throughout the season. Had a little bit of unluckiness, I suppose, during the races. But something to watch out here. Wild Dog, purple sector 2, unless of course it's Codemasters doing the usual shenanigans and just not telling us.
We like to tease you, don't we?
They do. I love the colour purple. No, I've somehow not invalidated. It will be an 18.257 split in Hedgehog and Jerome, but not enough for provisional pole. At the moment, apologies for me, Coven, I'm still getting over the tail end of this lovely illness. You love to hear it, At least it can't be passed through the mic, Dan. You're safe and sound there.
No, I'm absolutely fine. I did have it, but I don't now, so no, I do have a bit of putty. While you were talking, I did manage to identify the man that we don't have is the Maverick 33.
Ah, right. I wonder if it's maybe a connection issue or if he's just running a little late. Reverend Melvin, though, we were crossing the line. He goes for an 18.6, and already quite a close batch of times here. The top 11, top 12.
Top 10 all split by 5 or 6 tenths, yeah.
First to 13th, 1.1.
It begs to...
11 minutes still to go. Should be an interesting qualifying, but they've all done their first laps. There's a few just on the out laps, but this is the beauty of short qualifying, Dan. You get a very, very heavy rush, then you get a couple of minutes of nothing, and then it's all go again.
what we like to see. It makes things interesting. You know, people have to time their outlaps perfectly just to get some time out on track. Especially on a track like this, they like to sort of all sort of back each other up on that last corner because the exit to it is absolutely vital to your lap. So we might see a repeat of Monza a couple of years ago. We never know.
It could do, of course. 4.6 kilometers long, but only about a 1:15 to 20 lap time, really. A 1:15 actually would be pretty lightning, but we know there is some aliens out there. I'll not name any names, but
No.
who is on a lap? Crash Gaming seems to be the only one on a lap, and he has invalidated, so he's not really. Ben, is he on a lap now? It looks to be. He's got that DRS open.
MEFC Harvey. He went on a second flyer and went up to P5 in 18.3, making the top 10 even closer now.
An 18.3, and according to my display, that is on 4 lap old softs. Wow. That is.
Wait till that man gets on softs. Them fresh though.
That is mighty impressive. Just going out, maybe doing some banker laps here just to get a little bit of rhythm. I wouldn't put it past him getting a 5th in the row when it comes to poles. He has, of course, been up there.
It could pay off. It could be a good strategy, like you said, getting a banker. Oh, we've got Ben retiring.
That is on track as well. It seems to be on the exit of turn 8. We'll get on board with Tom at tip top here and just see him. Yep, he's on the right hand side. He's lost it under exit and spun across into the barrier. Tricky corner, because you can do that. You can just spin it completely and come away scot-free. Or if you're really unlucky, you can spin right round, go across the grass, and end up looking at turn 7 with a DSQ in your head. It's a difficult corner, even for us. So for these guys out here, a bit newer to the game, my heart goes out to them. But the first victim has been caught, and it is, of course, BX37 Pro. Tomo tipped up though.
Unfortunate. It's just all those elevation changes you've got in the track.
Well, I've got the maximum slope on this track is a 57 meter change in one little slope.
Wow.
But you can see it even watching the cars go around. There's such an elevation change. Reverend, I can't even speak now, Dan. Reverend Melvin, he is going around the track, and he has got an elevation change on the front of his car because he has no front wing. Obviously, a little incident there somewhere. We're going to jump, actually. I think we'll jump on board with Cami. He's just starting a lap. P6 at the moment in 18.4. He's very close to the Haas in front, so I wonder if the Haas will pull away or...
Managed to just not invalidate on that corner. It's a very tricky one to get right.
He is ever so slightly up in his time, just 600ths at the moment, which would see him jump. Surprisingly, it would see him jump up to about P3. That's how tight these guys are. As Riordan setting the fastest one so far. Like we said, the Mercedes, a strong addition to that Mercedes team coming in as a reserve from Canada. And, you know, when you've got Riordan and MEFC Harvey in a team, it's a bit of a battle for these guys when it comes to constructors. 2 very quick drivers from what we've seen. 2 championship contenders. A little unfortunate Riordan, he's missed out because missed a few races, but there's still plenty of points to be gained. One man that will be looking to gain points tonight though is, of course, Cami. He is, according to this game, set up for sector 3, or sector 2, sorry. We'll see what he can put on the board here. It's going to be a 1:18.1, does go provisional P2. Very good lap from him, just not quite enough for Riordan.
Oh, I think he was just about to try and go into a second lap, but he's just gone into the wall. Wild Dog on a 17.6. Here we go.
These are the times. Well, that's my, a 17.8 out of the water already. Wild Dog, we've seen his head.
I definitely said 17.6.
And I think we could go quicker.
You viewers, these are the lottery numbers. No.
I think we could see quicker though, because MEFC Harvey's only done a 4 lap old tyre lap, so he's got more pace.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Yeah, we could be seeing the low 17 here, Scott. Low 17, that'd be impressive.
Dare I say a 17.4, 17.
Let's go 17.3. We know the ability of some of these boys, especially MEFC Harvey.
All I'm feeling this is doing here is putting a lot of pressure on us for Thursday night now to really perform.
Well, I don't like to toot my own horn, but
Of course, you are beating, you know, quite a few esports drivers in the championship, aren't you? You're, for a guy that works a lot and doesn't get a lot of time, it just shows it can be done. That these guys aren't untouchable. You just need a bit of raw, pure talent, which you fortunately have, Dan.
oh, well, I appreciate that, mate. It's all in the teamwork. I think it is. We all there's no team better than us.
Exactly that. You'll never find a better, more wholesome chat than that McLaren chat, but we'll leave it at that, because if
I'm
not,
sure
we'll
people
be...
are getting bored of the McLaren talk.
I'm sure we could go on all night, but we better not, because there might be some complaints in the chat, you know.
Yeah, of course. Let's go back to the racing. I'll stay on board with MFC Power because help a lot. Just about to start that, actually.
So Gay cross the line, he will not improve his lap. Who is on a flyer? It looks like Hedgehog isn't. I think he might actually just be. Is ERS? No, he's definitely not. His ERS is not being deployed. Reverend Melvin, we've seen what kind of pace he's had. He's been a podium sitter so far this season. He's had, let me just go to my little infographic type thing here. Where is he? He's had 3 top 5 finishes, 3 of which were all podiums. Amazing.
Wow, okay.
Yet to find a win this season, but 3 out of 6 on the podium. It's a good record, as we do have a car around at turn 8 there. I think it was a Red Bull of either Scott Gay or Piero. But Reverend Melvin,
I believe it was Scott Gay's MUFC Harvey spins just behind him. It's that dreaded corner again. Just this elevation change. You can see some of them are struggling to get used to it, get the power down, find that traction. But which means it could be a bit of a problem in the race.
especially once we get heavy fuel loads in, worn tyres and dirty air as well, especially. Reverend Melvin, though, he is on a flyer at the moment. Currently 4 tenths up at his time there on the end of Sector 2, would see him go into the mix around P5. Crosses the line to go P3 with an 18 flat. Very, very good lap.
It's impressive, it is from the McLaren driver. We know he's had pace all season. Not really been a collie specialist, it's always been in the race where he's shown his pace, but could this be the day or night even when he puts it on the front row? You never know. You never know with these drivers, Scott. It's all a mixed bunch.
Exactly. It seems to be the thing. We've had, 6 different race winners from 6 different races. It seems to be a case of the guys all have maybe a similar pace. It just depends who's got the advantage track to track, who does it suit more. WAAK, he's going to cross the line to set his first lap. Goes a 19.1 to put in provisional P14 at the moment. Somebody to look out for, though, was AFL there in the Alfa Romeo. He just set a lap time shortly before. Goes for an 18.1. Current championship leader, of course, so never one to bat out. And Piero going P3 at the moment with an 18 flat. We've got... I mean, look at that. The gap from P2 to P11. Half a second. Amazing. And this is tier 4.
Incredible. It is incredible. Just MUFC Harvey coming up to the line now, just going past the last corner. I know in Sector 2 he was just marginally off next time.
Well, we'll get on board with him as they run down to the final corner. The ERS has been used for this lap, as we know it certainly seems to do. It's a very high ERS usage map when you get on a hot lap, but he goes...
17.8.
Jumps his teammate for P2, but still just under 2 tenths clear of the Ferrari of Wild Dog. Very good showing from the young Belgium again. He's had a fast uptick in form these last few weeks, and he'll be looking to kick on with that. What was that? Oh, just getting caught on board with something a little bit dangerous there. There was a couple of cars trying to let each other pass, both in slow laps, and it looked a bit closer than it maybe was. Also as well, I don't know if you noticed it, Dan, I missed it. Mean Man Niddy retired. Do you know, was that in the pits or was that in the track?
I think it may have been in the pits. I can see his car in the pits now. He's the AlphaTauri, isn't he? There's the 2 AlphaTauris in the garage on the map. So we can only hope it wasn't an on-track retirement, and it was just in the pits. Maybe he used up all his tyres. It could be quite a few different things.
Potential. A man, though, that's definitely not used all his tyres is wee Cammy, because he's on a lap at a 17.7. Still not able to beat Wild Dog, but a blitz of a lap there.
That is a man that has improved quite a lot over the past seasons he's been with us, Wild Dog. He's finally getting the results he deserves, especially with all the hard work. And that win in Belgium must have just spurred him on, especially with a decent going in the rerun of Canada last week, and now definitely showing the pace on the new track. So I can't wait to see how the race comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. He got his first win, and then a P4 last week. Even with he get tangled up with a little bit of an incident last week, but still managed to bring it home for P4, which solid result when you're having maybe a difficult race. It's still very good points that. So one to watch out for, especially.
MUFC Harvey, sorry, he's just gone into the pit, so he will not be getting that pole position today, Scott.
So that will be him. His reign of 4 in a row has ended. Man that is on a lap though, Hedgehog 11, just about to cross the sector 2 line. He is a quarter of a second up in his time. That would put him in the mix with about P4, P5-ish, but he's still got a sector to go here, and I reckon with a bit of track evolution here, he could gain a few tenths, maybe even out of this final corner if he can get the grip down early enough. Coming round the final long bend, he's used up the ERS for the lap, but that won't struggle him too much. Charging up to the line now for a 1:17.9, 1/1000th off of Riordan in the Mercedes.
I think he'll be happy with that though, Hedgehog. He knows himself that again he doesn't unfortunately have the pace in quality, but again he in the races he definitely makes up for it. Especially with the strategy calls, he must have quite a good strategist for his team. 17.5 from Riordan. Wow.
Speaking of him, yep, he goes 2 tenths clear, and I missed that. I didn't even realise he was on a lap. 17.5 from tier 4.
Unless anyone else, there's oh no, AFL goes into the pits. You've got people like Atom, Mark Wilson, someone that surprised me is that isn't up there. He might just be there might just be the track limits people are struggling with at the moment, but I think that's going to be it.
The only man out on track at the moment. Well, Crash Gaming, he's still to set a time. He does set a time, but can't lift his car off the back row of the grid. Atomic into the pits, Mark Wilson into the pits, and that will be our qualifying.
That is it.
So Riordan, of course, breaking MUFC Harvey's pole streak, but it still stays in that Mercedes garage just on the other side of the box. Wild Dog, he'll be happy with that. P2, only a 10th and 300ths behind him with wee Cammy. He'll be very, very happy with that. P3 a 17.7. Just looking at line times there from Atomic in P10 to Riordan in P1, they're all very impressive times. Even Mean Man Moody, Scott Gay, Tomo Tip Top, they are good, solid lap times for what I was expecting the times to be, but these guys have overshot my expectations by about half a second, in all honesty. And I think that just really shows the quality we've got in this grid now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said at the start, you look at the drivers' standings, and sometimes the points just doesn't reflect sort of these drivers' abilities. You've got people sat sort of rock bottom like BX37 Pro, who know he's got the pace. So it's going to be very interesting.
Absolutely. Well, there we go. Just to go over what we said again. Riordan, the Irishman, taking the top step and the pole position time. Wild Dog, the young Belgian, looking to get his second win in CRL. Well, he's put himself in a very good position starting this race to get it. He will start P2 with Wee Cammy X in P3. MUFC Harvey, Hedgehog and AFL, 3 of our title contenders, make 4, 5 and 6. Drone YT, man's had a little bit of bad luck over the few weeks, but he'll be happy. P7, it's up near the top of the grid. We saw he has had race pace at times, so he'll be looking for a clean, easy race to get through. Piero, Reverend Melvin and Atomic 76 make up the top 10. While we go through this loading menu, just bear with me folks, you're going to get a nice little look at my PlayStation here. I forgot to turn off my notification settings, so of course we might end up with a little... We already had it during qualifying, somebody coming online, so just to minimise that, I'll just quickly turn that off and magically we're back to the race here. But of course, everybody there, one thing we didn't touch on, of course, was strategy. Everybody in the top 10 starting on the softs, they will have to use the softs to set their fastest lap time in, of course, and everybody else from P11 to 19 tonight will have a free choice of strategy. Soft, medium, I would say that's the best strategy around here, Dan. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, ideally, yeah. No safety car, no rain. Yeah, absolutely. Soft medium would probably be the optimum. Gives you a good sort of tyre to start on, get that traction down, get that track position right at the start, and then maybe early safety car go on the hards. They can definitely last. But we'll just have to. It's all situational, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is. As a track might actually suit the hards a little bit. We have seen in a bit of practicing that some of the guys struggling with tyre temperature, so maybe the hards, you know, they'll maybe be in a better operating window. I would say the mediums are a better racing tyre than the softs, but that's only if you're going more than 4 laps, 4, 5, 6 laps. No, that'll be wrong. Sorry, that was for a 25% race. Oh, I'm all over the place, Dan. You can tell I've had a week off.
It's okay. We'll forgive you. It's fine. Let's get it together. Let's go.
I'll get the bottle of water, shake it over my head, and we'll get ready to go for the race proper. Of course, we are on the formation lap here, chance for the tyres to get warmed up nicely for the start. AFL won't have that choice because for whatever reason he has been disqualified. Strange one to see. Normally it's 2 drivers getting disqualified for bumping into each other, so whether he maybe just didn't move off the line, that could be my only guess. Answer is of course on a postcard.
Absolutely, yeah. You never know with this game though. It could just be for nothing, you know. Especially since EA have taken over the game. No F1 slander, but it could be just because you haven't paid enough to it. You never know.
So suggesting AFL needs to get his wallet out to pay for the formation lap.
For the downloadable content they're going to release in a couple of months.
Oh, I can't wait for that. I'll need to start working more shifts, I suppose, but it'll all be worthwhile because we all love this game, I suppose. Interesting formation lap here, I've got to admit. The top 4 going round at their own pace. Hedgehog taking it nice and slow. So, and even after that, there's quite a few breaks. And somebody spun, BX37 Pro has spun on the formation lap. Oh, Ben.
At least his tyres are going to be warm, Scott. At least his tyres will be warm.
Think of the positives. And of course, by the time he gets round, everybody else in front of him will be a lot colder, so he could be one to watch through the charge. Speaking of tyres as well, of course, the top 10 all in softs. Everybody in the bottom 9 on mediums, apart from Scott Gay in P12, who's opted for the hards, and Spider Robin 15, who has also opted for the softs. So it will be interesting to see how that pays off for them. But we're going to jump on board now with MUFC Harvey, just so I can get a good look at the lights here as we're about to begin for the inaugural Portuguese Grand Prix here in CRL. Tier 4 will be taking us away. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And lights out, and away we go for the Portuguese Grand Prix. The Ferrari Wild Dog getting bogged down a little bit there, started losing a little bit of time to the cars behind, but Riordan in the Mercedes getting away lightning quick. Cami.
Contact already.
Contact further back already.
Trying to go in wide, I don't think it was too major. Oh, there is a car, it's Ben. It's BX37 Pro, he has spun already.
And there's contact at the front, it seems to be Cami, he is round, there was 3 wide round turn 3 there, Wild Dog, Cami and one other. Going 3 wide round turn 3. We've seen already with this track. Look at this mangle of cars in the midfield already. It is a perfect track. It's so wide, so many braking zones, so many opportunities. And we're seeing already Reverend Melvin and Atomic scrapping out. Reverend Melvin round at turn 8 already. I'm glad I've got a co-commentator tonight, Dan. This is going to be hard to keep up with everything.
That's okay. I'll keep an eye on it back. Let's go to the midfield.
AFL running a little wide. He was catching up on Mark Wilson there. But Riordan, 2.3 seconds clear at the front. Hedgehog, like you said, a man that is very good at the race starts and the racecraft. He's up 3. Drone YT is up into the podium position provisionally. He's up 4. Atomic up 5. And Mark Wilson up from let me do my maths here, P14 to P6 already.
You've also got the man in the McLaren Crash Gaming going up from up 7 positions. So from last on the grid to P12 in 1 lap.
Very, very solid start on lap, a good start to this Grand Prix. We do have 2 cars into the pits, Cami and Toma Tip Top obviously getting mixed up in that first lap. confusion, or shall we just say eagerness? I think that's maybe a better word for it. But a little train going on here. Missing overtakes left, right and centre, and Drone getting double overtaken there by Wild Dog and Atomic up the inside into the hairpin. He had a good start lap 1, but not how he'd like his lap 2 to have begun. But of course it is a long race here, 33 laps in total, as Atomic gets a little bit loose on the exit of turn 3 there. Drone looked to make a little bit of contact, doesn't seem to be any damage for him, but it has invited Mark Wilson in, who's going to go up the inside into turn 10.
Yes, Harvey's been, I'm not sure if it was a drift or if it was contact, I didn't quite catch it.
And our leader has spun out. I think that is turn 11. Riordan in the Mercedes has spun out and into the wall. I believe into the wall anyway. It looks like there's damage. Yep, he is missing an end plate, so that promotes Hedgehog into the lead. He will be ecstatic with that. Disaster class start for the Mercedes guys here already, but Hedgehog won't be loitering too long because he has got the man of speed behind him in Wild Dog, as AFL goes down the inside to tries better of it, and Mark Wilson sticks from the outside. I had just on note as well, oh never mind, Drone YT was in AI mode there for a second. I thought he'd get disconnected, but I'm not too sure with that one.
No, but that, just to draw your attention to Drone, he is about to overtake Mark Wilson, but Mark Wilson at 10 positions in 2 laps, Scott.
Of course.
Oh, and there is contact, but we've managed to keep it clean, that's okay.
It's a very good start for Mark, especially being on the medium tyres with all these guys in the softs round about him. He is though flashing that ERS. He's only on 11% already, so he has been blasting through that. That might leave him vulnerable, especially down that start-finish straight later on in the race. We have yellow flags in sector 2.
Another spinner, I think it's the Mercedes.
It is MEFC Harvey in the Mercedes at turn 8 again. We've already seen it catch out a few people, and it's claimed yet another victim. There's a nice little train in the mid-pack here though.
Harvey's gone again. I think those tyres are just a bit too hot at the moment. He's trying to push even with those warm tyres from spinning. Not helping. It's not doing him any favours.
It's very, very easy to overheat the tyres around here, just with the natural sort of fast flows of the corners. Mean Man really having a little bit of almost lag there, but he's going to get DRS now on the Red Bull of Piero. The sister car in the Alpha Tauri going down the inside into turn 1. Makes it stick. Very nice man, Mood. Oh, very nice move from the Mean Man, Moody. I'd get there eventually. Jumping back up to the front though, we've got a tasty little battle for the lead.
Just about, will he go down? No, he thought better of it.
Thought better of it, but closing that gap, only 2 tenths between them, almost side by side. Pulling out a 3-second gap to the next car behind us. We do have a spin of Crash Gaming through the exit of turn 4. I think that will be damage for him, and the first of the penalties starting to roll in here with BX37 Pro, Atomic and Drone all getting them.
Yeah, like I said in the qualifying, it is a difficult track if you haven't done it too much for track limits, especially being a new game. New track in the game, sorry, I'm as bad as you, Scott. New track in the game. Yeah, so you don't quite know where you can push and where you have to sort of ease off. It is very difficult, so you do have to sort of adjust quite quickly.
Absolutely, especially these guys, you know, even the other tracks have probably done some sort of league or maybe even career mode race around the tracks of some length. They'll know how the tyres behave as they start to go off. Not so much around here. MEFC Harvey compiling his bad night, getting 3 seconds anyway. Wild Dog having a look down the inside into turn 1 on Hedgehog to take the lead of the Grand Prix, as I believe Crash Gaming's out. Dan, do you see anything with that?
He is. I didn't unfortunately. It looks like it is. It's just go on board. I think it's that dreaded uphill right-hander that we've been speaking of so much already tonight. He's in the wall down the bottom of that hill, so he's it must be a case he's just lost traction. It is a shame. He is finding it difficult at the moment, but we can only hope he just bounces back from it. Really.
Very unfortunate. Very easy track to spin at, so not one to get your head down. Crash, you'll be back again stronger next week, I'm sure, when we go over to I can't remember where. I'm a brilliant commentator, I am. But he will be back strong next week. Drone though, speaking of coming back strong, he's looking to retake some positions here on Mark Wilson, going through the third sector, only a tenth behind. And I think this is where Crash Gaming crashed out. They've seen there's a lot of little undulations and depressions and rises throughout that section, so like you said, very easy to spin, as we do have another spin. I believe that's OAK around turn 8 again, claiming I think it's 4th victim of the night for the spins. penalties really stopped
let's
the
just be
record.
thankful they've not retired, Scott. It would have been a long night for you with those meme videos, you know.
I'd have been up all night working and slaving over the computer. They will be coming soon, Dan, but I know you're desperate for them.
I am. I absolutely am. There's been quite a few requests. I think people are getting restless.
You can see the difficulties of having a fan club. Speaking of a man that does have a fan club, Mark Wilson up to P3. Big shout out. He's of course got the other half, his better half roped in, that she'll be watching right now, raping the Cohen merch. So speaking of that, if you want to be able to get yourself your hands on a little bit of Cohen merch yourself and be like the better half of Mark Wilson, or I'm sure she'll be alright with this, Danielle, good support in the comments every week raping that t-shirt, you can of course get your own merch. Link to the store will be down below in the description. There's a little preview image of the merch on the right hand side there. Brilliant stuff from that. I've got really comfy, really good for sitting in the chair sweating out on this game because it's just so breathable, so light and amazing. But MUFC Harvey,
we love a shameless plug here. We love a shameless plug.
I had a request. I'll not name drop them, from a head admin to put it in tonight. So you know I got it in.
Okay.
MUFC Harvey though, his title challenges have took a hit. Yep, retiring in the pits. Not obviously not having a good even drone though. Having another look at Mark Wilson for P3 does get them moved on into turn 1. Both of these guys are really rinsing their ERS at the moment. And
Mark Wilson goes.
Commentator's curse maybe. I can't feel that.
I think it was.
I think he did still have the ERS on through the corner, so that might have had some indication then for some word in there. But Atomic having a little bit of an audition move up the inside into the hairpin there, making slight contact. Seems to have got away with. He's a very lucky man there, getting away without damage. Making contact to the front wing to me and Moody's left rear. Jeez.
No, absolutely. But on a track like this, where track position is key, sometimes you do have to go for those risky moves as long as you're keeping it safe. We don't want another 2-hour session with the stewards. Not that I've attended any this season, but I feel for them.
Yes, there's been many a long nights with the stewards over the course of my season and a bit on the team. There's been some interesting races. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely. Something to bring your attention to. Wild Dog, he's got a 3-second gap at the front there.
He's really stretching his legs at the moment, of course, on the same tyres as the 3 behind him. A revitalised man since this win, I would say. He's really starting to show his pace, really starting to show his consistency. One definitely to watch, but it's a long way to go. Will maybe Hedge is playing the long game? Well, it doesn't look like it, because again, he's rinsing that ERS. AFL and P4 though will be laughing. He's got Drone with 18% ERS in front of him, and Hedge on 24. He's sitting with 90 nearly. But speak of the devil, 3-second time penalty for Wild Dog, so now he's down to effectively a 0.4 lead, and we know how good Hedgehog is at avoiding the pens. That could be crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially as we get to sort of the end stages, once those tyres are gone, it'll all be down to if Hedge can keep his car on the track. And as you said, he is very good at avoiding those pens. So it's going to be an interesting watch because, he can avoid the penalties. I don't know what else I've got to say. That's all he does. That's his speciality. You know, we've got a few of those, and he's definitely one of them.
Definitely. Cammy needed second stop of the night. He's not having a great race. As Reverend Melvin getting a 10-second penalty for corner cutting.
Oh, I think it's a spin. It might be a harsh one. I think he might have spun because he was in the gravel. And that's just going to be sort of that's going to put him right at the back now. Gravel on his tyres.
Gravel on the tyres, they will be absolutely cooking on him as well, so not ideal for him. Drone though having a little look inside of Hedgehog down to the hairpin, and Ben, was it Ben? No, it wasn't. It was Piero in the Red Bull pitting after 8 laps on the soft. It seemed to just be strategical from what I can tell, going onto the medium. So the first man to pull the trigger on them early pit stops. Of course, like any track in this game, the undercut is very, very strong. Reverend Melvin following suit. Of course, he's had that little spin, so maybe a front wing change, but could be the key to getting him back into this race. I wonder if we'll see a flurry into the pits very, very soon.
Yeah, these soft tyres don't seem to last too long around here, especially with the track temps being in a hot place like Portugal. No, it's only a game, but it does obviously play into that tyre wear. So it's all down to who's got sort of the biggest cojones, I'd say, who can keep those tyres sort of going the longest.
Definitely. Hedgehog dropping down to P3 now as Drone goes up his inside into turn 1. Thing to note at the front here, we've got Drone and AFL, the two alpha males very close together. They'll be looking to avoid, they'll be looking to get track position out in front, of course, but they'll also be looking to avoid the dreaded double stack on each other. So I wonder if AFL will maybe call it early, maybe Drone I'll call it early as Hedgehog goes back down the inside. We just caught the tail of that move on the right hand side. What a move that looked to be. Both running wide. I don't know if there was a little bit of contact, but if not, what an overtake that was by the young marsupial mammal. I don't know, but there is a little train forming behind it here, all the way down to, I suppose we could say, even P6 of Atomic. Mean Man
yeah,
Moody,
you're second behind Mean Man Moody, yeah.
Mean Man, we've seen the pace. Mean Man Moody, he's of course been racing in the academy and now tier 4 for a few seasons now. Slowly but surely he has been improving, and this season especially he's came into his own, being up near the front on multiple occasions. And again, P5 on the mediums, the front of the first of the medium runners. Anything could happen.
Be in a strong position on those medium. He can, as soon as these soft runners in front of him, he can afford to just push in that clean air.
Absolutely, let them get the clean air and put a stonker of a few laps in to try and minimise their undercut, I suppose. Another man to look out for, Scott Gay, 10 lap old hards, currently finds himself in P7. It just shows you, maybe not on the fastest tyre, starting quite far back down the grid, I suppose, but just keeping your nose clean, keeping it out of the way, can get you positions. And just as we were saying that, Drone YT pits from P2/P3 onto a set of mediums. So will this trigger Wild Dog, Hedgehog and AFL all to jump in fully, and even Atomic, because we know how strong the undercut can be, and the last thing you want to do is lose position off track, never mind on it.
Oh, absolutely, it is all down to reacting to the others around you, making sure that you keep the gap or the track position.
Seems to be as well. Hedgehog maybe struggling a little bit, because we have seen over the last few laps cars sort of maybe bottlenecking behind him. They don't seem to be able to get past him away, so maybe the DRS just helping them keep with him, but maybe not quick enough to break free himself. But with the help of the DRS, the others behind him quick enough to stay with him, and he doesn't go in the pits. AFL doesn't pit, but Atomic from P5, he does pit, so he's going to try and follow suit with AFL, with Drone, as AFL makes a move up the inside into turn 1 on Hedgehog. So Drone could be in a good position here.
Just coming round that last corner.
See how he was across ahead of Atomic. So he should be ahead of Atomic by
quite
seconds.
some way as well.
The key here will be to see will Atomic and of course Drone jump AFL and Hedgehog. Atomic choosing to go in the hard, so he'll definitely get to the end. The mediums, I think it'll be another stop for them personally.
Yeah, they you can see some of these leading ones now. They are starting to get a bit sort of shaky, and they do seem to be getting quite worn. So I think he may have made the right call there, making sure he can make it to if there is a safety car. Absolutely,
12 laps in, just over the front of the waypoint. AFL has cleared Hedgehog and pulling out a 1.3 second gap. Mean Man Moody and Mark Wilson shortly behind. Mark doing very well to recover from that spin earlier on. He's right back up into the mix here. They'll be looking to clear him very soon. Of course, it's always the case as soon as you get past somebody that you're that's on old tyres waiting to pit, is the lap that they pit. Moody don't get past Hedgehog. Still finish straight. I don't think he's going to fight it too hard. He knows that his battle isn't with Moody at the moment, as AFL and Moody both getting a 3 second time penalty through the first part. Hedgehog still to get one. Scott Gay, Greg and AEK all yet to get a penalty. Everybody also has time on that board for the, well, for the virtual stewards, I suppose. It's not really.
Mark Wilson dives down Hedgehog a little bit late, but luckily they keep it clean. There is no contact there.
Very, very fortunate indeed. Apparently, I've just been told by Mr. AJ that the game volume is slightly loud, so I'll turn that down a little bit. Apologies. Up until this point, it seems one of my settings reset. Hopefully that is a bit more manageable and you can hear us a little bit better, but I'm sure you've not missed much listening to our rambling. You'd still be able to hear it, you just need to get the hearing aids out, Jacob, come on. But we'll see. I'm just going to have a little check-in on the live chat here, and we have got a little bit of activity going on. Getting a shout out back from Daniela, of course. What you call him, Mark Wilson's girlfriend, but Hedgehog, not to be done up, has got Amelia, his better half, in the chat. Of course, telling us, telling us who the best, the best other half in Cone is. You'd maybe have disagreements there, but another person we have got in the chat is, of course, our very own Mr. Pheasant Plucker, saying very sexy commentary box this evening up the Cone.
I couldn't have said it any better myself.
Love that from Danny. AFL though has made his pit stop, and he is quite a bit back from Drone, and Atomic even slipping through just barely. So the undercut working for these guys. Of course, they will have a bit better tyre life towards the end of the Grand Prix, but they're going to have to make the move back on track. Speaking of in the chat, we've got a superstar in tonight, the one, the only, Daniel Ferguson. Mr.
What a man. He's definitely someone that's been missed here. We're glad to have you back, Greg.
Absolutely, Mr. the one and only Freg. Of course, some of you newer to the channel, newer to the league, might not know who this man is. Well, I'm sure after a few races back you will soon know who he is. Definitely not somebody to be messed with, definitely not somebody to be slept on, as we have a car off through the third sector. On the right hand side is wee Cammy. He's went for a little spinala.
Not having a good time, unfortunately, with Cammy.
Really struggling at the back, but of course he only needs to make up 2 positions and he's in the points down to 17 at the moment. Hedgehog is pitting for a set of mediums. Let's get on board with Drone. He's going to easily skip Hedgehog. What about Atomic and AFL?
It's just that undercut. I think they're past him.
They are well and truly past him. Even Piero, who pit quite a bit earlier on for a fresh set of mediums on lap 10, he's even managed to skip Hedgehog. So maybe a bad call in his part going for the extra laps, but he's maybe looking at pushing for that one stop now, getting them mediums to the end. 14 laps on the softs. That'll leave 19 laps in the mediums, which isn't too far-fetched, I would say. But a nice little battle here between Piero, AFL and Atomic, currently for P8. All running within a second of each other. And just as I say that, Piero catching the nice big sausage curb at turn 7, going for a half spin, but catching it very, very nicely. Well done for him with his car control. 10 out of 10 from me for that. That is a Swan Lake going right, I suppose.
Unfortunately, didn't see it, but I'll take your word for it.
It was magnificent, magnificent. Wild Dog going 15 laps on the softs. He's going to pit. So, Drone YT, get your foot down here, buddy. You could be looking at provisional.
All coming round that last corner, all round that last corner. It's going to be close.
Ben running a little bit wide, a little bit of wheel banging between them, but Drone seems to have got by.
Yeah, I think Joan will definitely make it, but Wild Dog is in a strong position now. Oh, that's tight. It's tight.
Drone running wide. They're free wide through the rest of the complex. Wow. This is racing. This is pod racing, as they would say on a certain
now Drone
place.
might get caught up behind Ben though on those 15 lap old mediums.
Ben looking very racy though, trying to around the outside there, and not quite going to make it work, but this is the blessing that Wild Dog needed, just Ben getting in the way here.
We've got Danielle in the chat saying that Mark's put her on the game once, but she crashed straight away. So maybe we should get her into tier 4, Scott. What do you think?
I think so. I was speaking to him last night, and I did suggest that he could do a few extra shifts at work, get a bit of extra cash in his pocket, and buy the girl you know, a nice brand new PS5 with a copy of F1 2010, and maybe
Sounds
even
good to me.
even
Mark,
a Thrustmaster as well.
Mark, when you watch this back, do it. Let's get her involved, mate.
So you could be our first CRL racing couple. That would be something for the Twitter account, I would definitely say. Hedgehog, the man that was up near the front now, finds himself in P11, but he's battling with another quick driver in Riordan, who's of course had that early incident at the start of the race. He's in 12 lap old mediums. He would definitely need to stop again. Hedgehog likely not to. Will have DRS, however. Riordan does have it off of Piero, so this could be a nice little battle just to keep an eye on things, as we have a yellow flag in sector 2. That is Reverend Melvin having another spin at turn 8. Another man that's having a horrid night. We're going to jump quickly back on board with Drone though, because he is still chasing down at that rear end of the AlphaTauri of BX37 Pro. And meanwhile, Wild Dog is just skipping up the road every 10th, every corner.
So I did just mention it, but yeah, it's going to be vital. Drone needs to get past Ben as soon as he can. He wants to have a chance at the race lead, because I think provisionally right now it is Wild Dogs.
It is, yeah, I would say definitely provisionally Wild Dog, but two guys that are currently leading, Mean Man Moody and Mark Wilson, of course, yet to stop. But if they are going for the one stop onto the softs, they'll be very racy towards the end of this Grand Prix, and the overcut could come into play potentially. We do have a spin. Is that is an Aston Martin? It is Greg down in P13. I think that's the first spin of him for tonight, but not ideal to have any, as Big Ben does pit, and that will release Drone, who's actually lost out to Atomic, it seems. Oh no, I just can't read. He's lost out to AFL. No, he has lost out to Atomic.
He has lost out to Atomic, you are right, yeah.
I'm telling myself, it's the colours, Dan. Just, I'll not talk to you about colours, mate. Oh, yeah. I knew you were going to say that the instant I mentioned it. It was...
It's a struggle, okay. Let's move on,
Yeah, well, we'll skip
get emotional.
Pray for DC. The guys at the front, though, all yet still to pin the front three. Main Man Moody, Mark Wilson on the mediums, Scott Gay on the hards. 17 laps, he'll be looking to go a lot further. Late safety car could come in, an absolute ace for him here. Of course, we haven't seen any indication that's going to happen. The walls are quite far away from the track here, so it is not impossible, as we have seen, but it is difficult to make contact with them. But anything can happen in racing. And I'm looking at the wrong person here. We seem to have Hedgehog going past the lap car of AEK, who seems to be disconnected. I don't know if you can send him a quick little invite, Dan, just to try and see if he can get back in. I never even noticed him leaving.
Sorry, my connection is completely in and out. Who's that?
It is WAEK, the Haas. He has got the red X of death above him. So I'm not sure if it's a disconnection or if he's just left prematurely. I didn't see anything pop up, but you never know with these things.
It's okay. Give it a go. There we go. I've sent him an invite.
Well, there we go. He has the opportunity, of course, to rejoin if he so pleases. The nearest battle we have at the moment is between Hedgehog and Drone. Drone has fallen back. He's now 3 seconds adrift of Atomic, who's on only a lap younger hards compared to the mediums, but Drone seems to be struggling for race pace here on the mediums, which is a little bit disappointing for him. He was showing good promise at the start of this race. And
so you will have to bear with me just a few seconds. It seems my game has decided to retire everyone and go to podium celebrations, so I'll be back.
We love we love to see it. We absolutely love to see it. Wild Dog, though, putting a fastest lap in. He is on a charge and starting to close down that gap to the guys pardon me, at the front. So probably Mean Man Moody and Mark Wilson will have to do the overtakes on track, as well as Scott Gay if he wants to have a contention for this lead. But there's still plenty of time to go. They are stretching them medium tyres a long way. 19 laps will be 20 at the end of this. AFL is closing in on the back of Hedgehog, who's closing in on the back of Drone at YT. for P6, which may end up being anywhere from provisional P3 to provisional P8, if we're being honest, because the strategies are so varied here. But Hedgehog is on the newest of the tyres of the bunch, apart from, of course, Wild Dog in that mix. Spider Rob making another stop down in P13, so he should have a little bit of pace advantage, but of course we know he is quite a steady conservative driver, so maybe not giving it all at the moment. Check a look at the ERS situation. He is very low, and as is Drone. AFL, props to him with his ERS management tonight, still sitting at 80% after 20 laps. Of course, he would have had a little recharge in the pit lane with that. And speaking of the pit lane, Mark Wilson and Mean Man Moody from P1 and P2 are into the pits, so let's get on board with Wild Dog. He is going to take firm and easy lead of this race as he overtakes Scott Gay down into turn 1. Real DC has rejoined and Wild Dog is back into the lead. Mean Man Moody going for softs. Mark Wilson going for hards. Okay, that's definitely the alternative strategy. I feel that might be a little issue with the game, and that'll be disappointing if so, because the softs could easily have took him to the end here, I reckon. But Mean Man Moody now begins his charge up the field. A full battery of ERS. But is that going to be enough to defend from Drone, who's having a little sniff up the inside? He seems to have got the move done. It'll all be on the exit, but no, Mean Man Moody hanging it around the outside, getting better grip on the far right side of the track, turning to the inside for turn 7 and completes his defence up to turn 8. Shortly behind, Mark Wilson isn't far. Hedgehog, AFL, what a battle here we've got for what I would almost say is provisional. I would say Scott Gay's still got the pit. He's going to lose out to these guys. Atomic can go to the end, so he's definitely in this battle. Drone should just make it. To be fair, if he does the same as what the guys at the front did, he will just make it. So these are all 4 positions. These are all for the same strategy until the end. Every overtake matters, and what a little train we have here. Moody starting to pull away from them though. Them fresh softs, he's got to get the most out of them before they start to disintegrate and degrade away. Mark Wilson though on the fresh hards, having a look up the inside of Drone YT into turn 1, gets the move done before the apex of the corner, and that might invite some pressure from Hedgehog and AFL slightly further behind, as Drone will have to take a slightly compromised line in there. Dan, are you with us again?
I am back. I'm
good.
Just in time to see that Mark Wilson move. It was a great move into turn 1, a very difficult corner, but he's made it stick.
Just a little inside knowledge from the Mark Wilson garage. Danielle saying that he's not sure he meant to go in hard, judging by the look of him. So,
to see the look of distraught on that man's face.
We've all had it before, but it's a beauty to see first time.
Shouldn't laugh, Mark, but I'm sorry. We've got to find the humour in some situations.
Mark, if it makes you feel any better, it happened to me in Belgium, mate, and then a safety car came out a few laps later. I pitted to the softs and blitzed my way back through and got a P3. So don't discount yourself too hard yet, and you have got good pace, even on these hards.
Could go either way, because it happened to me before, and I went on a set of hards. I think it was a case of there was only 5 laps till the end. The safety car came out, and my guys decided to put me on some hards. So it's, the less said about that, the better.
The beauty of Jeff. We all love him. Mead Man Moody though sitting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 1:19.2. If he finishes in the top 10 and nobody else can beat it, that will get him an extra point. AFL going down the inside of Hedgehog and Drone. Mark Wilson going almost side by side through the first complex of corners here. What a scrap between these 4.
Alfa Romeo move. It's a thing of beauty.
Scott Gay has made his pit stop and will come out in P8. He's had a topsy-turvy start to the season, I would say. He did get, I believe it was a top 5, top 4 in one of the early races, but had a little dip in performance since then, so he'll be disappointed with that. Atomic though getting a 5-second penalty for corner cutting. I don't think I've oh, that's a strange one. I've never seen a 5-second pen for corner cutting. That to me...
No, it is, because it's either usually 3 seconds or 10.
Yeah, 10 if you cut it really bad, and then 3 obviously the warning. So I wonder if he maybe just cut the apex a little bit. Strange one. But speaking of penalties, because this will have a big decider on this race. Wild Dog out front has 6 seconds of penalties. Mean Man Moody in second with 3. So he will gain 3 seconds on Wild Dog as it is. So he's looking to make up just under 6 seconds by the end of this race to the Dutchman, the Belgian, out front. Atomic in P3, good running, but 14 seconds of penalties could be the suffer of him as Drone and Mark Wilson going side by side again through turn 1. What a battle these two guys are having here. Mark doing very well on them hards especially. And speaking of Mark, he has 6 seconds of pens while Drone has 9, so Drone needing to clear Mark and get 3 seconds up the road if he's going to be an AFL shortly behind with 8 seconds. But the man that has a record for doing this, Hedgehog, with nothing. This would see him provisionally climb.
Very, very good position. He's got 4 or 5 cars in front of him on some very big penalties.
Well, if it was to finish now, he would end up being promoted to P3. I think he'd be very happy with that considering he's currently running P7. But it just shows you how big of a benefit it is not getting pens. Scott Gay, the man behind him, he's 14 seconds back, but he's got plenty of time to try and crawl things back. He is, of course, on a fresh set of softs, so look out for him closing that gap down and maybe getting within, 8-9 seconds of Drone AFL, maybe even 6 seconds of Mark Wilson and 14 seconds of Atomic, so he could be on for a very good finish here. Riordan in P9, the Mercedes, he's got 3 seconds, Ben 15, Spider Rob 6, Revan Melvin, Tomo Tip Top and Wee Cammy all in double figures with 10, 14, 25 respectively. Oof. Just about got that done.
Catch your breath.
I like to get it done on a one.
Absolutely, no, don't blame me. Someone that I don't know if you mentioned while I was away, while I was having the problems, but Mean Man Moody, he's on fairly fresh softs in P2.
Yeah, Mean Man E, of course, he pitted at the end of lap 21 after taking them mediums from the start. Fresh set of softs, and of course he's got 3 seconds less penalties than Wild Dog. Fresh set of softs, he's in a prime position for this win here. It'll be a battle of Wild Dog trying to keep him at arm's length as Atomic has a spin through turn 8. Disaster for the Scotsman. He was running well in P3, of course with a lot of penalties, but still running very well, and now he'll have a lot of work to do on those 12 lap old hards if he's going to get a good finish, and he's actually within range of losing out to Scott Gay and maybe even Riordan at the moment when it comes to pens, so not what he would have wanted here, but he can settle back into this train, try and slip onto some DRS, save a bit of ERS and go for some push towards the end. But yeah, Mean Man Moody, 5 seconds really when you include penalties in 7 laps, 8 laps.
Yeah.
It's doable.
I think, the last lap he gained, I think, half a second. So it's definitely going to come down to the wire.
Definitely, of course, them softs won't last forever, so it will be a case of getting it done as soon as he can. Because the longer it goes on, although Wild Dog is on 5 lap older mediums, we have seen they can stretch 20 laps with the softs, really starting to struggle after about 8 and at their limit after 14. So Drone going for a little move around the outside of the hairpin, can't quite make it work. Mark
just squeezing him out.
Squeezing him out. I think it was maybe just borderline clean enough, but no damage from the cars.
Okay.
So yeah, a nice little move, a nice little late pull out from Drone there, seeing an opportunity to try it, and why not? You're racing for a podium here, might as well go for it, and he has got a little bit, well no, they're actually very even in ERS. AFL though, again, sitting in P5, 75% of the ERS is still at this point of the race. I think 3 laps to go, he's going to open that tank and just blitz it. But would it be worthwhile getting it done now, knowing you've got pens, and then trying to blitz it afterwards instead of leaving the pens?
Needs to, I think he does need to make that move as soon as he can. Try and blitz a little bit now because he's got Hedgehog right on his tail, and Hedgehog, as you know, doesn't have any pens, but yeah, it could be crucial for him.
Absolutely, if you could clear Drone and Mark Wilson, and then use that ERS to try and stretch out the lead at the front, it could be the difference between a podium and a P7. Piero down in P12, he's not having a great race either. Of course, we know Piero, he does have pace in him at times, and whoa, there is a big thing for the leader of this race. A 3-second time penalty takes him up to 9. So as it stands, Mean Man Moody has a 6-second advantage over Wild Dog when it comes to pens. Gap is 8 seconds.
As you said, those mediums now, I think they're in their sort of optimum range. Wild Dog did gain a few tenths sort of back on me, Man Moody, so it could just get him. Could just keep Man Moody at bay.
He could just be swinging. Drone and Mark Wilson going side by side through turn 10. Brilliant, brilliant moves there. Side by side through nearly every corner, these two guys. Absolutely brilliant racing to see. A little bit, just enough respect and enough space being given, but just enough what we consider, I suppose, hard, fair racing, which is what we love to see here. Get on board.
Absolutely, it's a fantastic race-long battle for them. I'm sure they'll have some highlights to share with all of us, and sure, like you said, nothing but respect both on track and in the server as well.
I can't wait to see the submissions for overtake of the week this week, because put it this way, if I don't see one from either of these two, I'm going to be very, very upset. AFL though still hanging on the back of them there, as is Hedgehog. They've got a 5-way battle here effectively if we include Atomic, but nobody seems to be able to get past, make the mook stick, and then stretch out a lead from there. It's surprisingly, you know, for a track that's you know, we had Suzuka in Canada, not the best for overtaking. I thought this would be the one. It's a pure train here, which might just be due to the different tyre compounds, different ERS labels maybe, but not what I was expecting. I was expecting when I seen this would have some free wide battles.
No, I think just as we've been saying, talking about the elevation changes and the sort of the twist and the turns, especially of that sector 2, it is very difficult to overtake unless you make some sort of ambitious moves. But all this train here is doing is playing right into Hedgehog's hand for that podium. All he has to do is keep it clean, and the third spot on that podium is his.
Absolutely, and it's of course it's playing into Wild Dog's hand as well. 9-second penalties. He'll be looking to keep a good gap, and of course the interval between second and third is 10 seconds, so that nullifies that already. Wild Dog's a further 8 seconds up the road. Drone having another go up the inside into turn 1, gets the move done. Lovely, lovely move, which we've seen him do multiple times here. The 5 of the cars going side by side.
Atom's gone for dive.
It's a little bit of an ambitious move there from Atomic, but the gap was there, but the braking wasn't, sadly.
I think he would have just got away with it on Hedgehog, but the car in front, I think that was a bit too ambitious. I think he just outbraked himself, and it has cost him massively.
Fortunate not to do any impact upon any other drivers, fortunate though, so this battle will continue on. Mark Wilson and Drone still going at it. It seems to be the cars swapping position nearly every second corner almost. Side by side again through the end of the second sector. Drone coming out on top this time, but of course I don't know what happened. I thought we had a safety car there for a second. That's why I had a little stutter. Mark Wilson slowed down, having a little bit of a wiggle there, but doing so sort of boxed in AFL, and Hedgehog has got past him. So Hedgehog will now be looking to make a charge. He doesn't need to, but
AFL with that DRS, he's using it now. He's just about down to 50.
And Mark Wilson covering the inside very, very well, and does a big favour for Hedgehog. AFL, his eyes lit up there. He was looking at the chance of double overtake, and Mark Wilson just decided, nope, I'm taking the inside line here, pal. You're going to have to go the long way around, which Hedgehog, I'm pretty sure there'll be a thank you message sent at some point during after this race. Oh, but this group still together. This has been about 10, 12 laps almost, and yet they cannot be separated, only by penalties.
I think even more than that. Sorry, that's my connection coming into play.
We'll jump further back the field because we haven't really seen much down the pack at all, quite spread up, but Piero's just made a move on Spider Rob for P11. Of course, a points paying decision we do here, pay out to P15 in Cone, and an extra bonus point for the fastest lap if you're in the top 10. So Piero on slightly fresher mediums. We know he is a seasoned racer within the league. Spider Rob, a newcomer to the league, had a little bit of struggles, but still finding his feet. He'll be looking to kick on and hopefully maybe get another move back on Piero and give us something interesting further down the field, because they're all pretty gapped out, apart from this little group at the front. Scott Gay, though, a man that could stand to win quite a bit here when penalties come into play. He's only, well, let's have a look at the gap to the leader. He's only 30 seconds off the lead, whereas Mark Wilson is 28. And when you apply that 9 seconds, that's 6 seconds, 8 seconds, 14 seconds. He could jump up quite a few positions here, as this battle's still raging on. Hedgehog not yet able to get past Mark Wilson or Drone. They maybe settled into their final position for the last few laps, but I'm sure they'll all be...
Oh, Wikami's retired.
Where is that? Is that on?
Is that on your track? It looks like he's on track.
I don't have his car on the track for some strange reason.
I've got 2 Red Bulls driving around. Oh no, he's not a Red Bull, he's an Alpine. I've also got 2 Alpines driving around, so I think it might be... Yeah, I think it might be on track, unfortunately. But that's okay, we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that later. It's okay.
Yeah,
obviously retired.
Something we do discourage, of course. If you're not having a good day, try and get into the pits and retire just to avoid any issues with your car. But that will, of course, be dealt with at a later date. Mark Wilson closing back in on Drone down to turn 1, slightly too far back to make the move. Just a couple of tenths, so could be lining up as he does take a big corner cut there. Little bit of wheel banging, and Drone getting pushed slightly wide in. Hedgehog getting past. That could be one for the stewards potentially. Mark Wilson did get his punishment of 3-second time cutting, but not ideal. Hedgehog having a little dive up the inside. And AFL picking up another pen. That is just playing into the hands of Scott Gay further back, who doesn't have any pens, of course, but I think Drone could be a little bit upset, and rightfully so, in all honesty. Atomic, though, he's making his way back through this pack. I never even noticed. Of course, got past Drone.
He is, but he's sat on those 14 seconds of penalties, so it's difficult. So track, obviously on track, it's a great sort of surge. It's just a bit of a shame.
He has Mark Wilson picking up another 3-second.
Oh, Mark Wilson with another.
That could be disastrous for him. And just to go back to the battle at the front again, Wild Dog has, of course, stretched that lead out to nearly 10 seconds. He has got 6 seconds more in penalties than Mean Man Moody, so as long as he doesn't pick up another one, it should be home and dry for the Belgium for his second league victory here. Atomic having a little look inside of Hedgehog, chooses not to go for it. Keep an eye on where Wild Dog is on track here to try and catch him across the line, of course. But for the meantime, we're going to stick on this battle from P3 to P8. Riordan getting involved with this now. What's he like for penalties? He could make up a few positions here if I could learn how to use the button. He's 6 seconds, so he could jump. Definitely Atomic, who's got a 10-second
Atomic, he's gone. He's spun. Him and Mark Wilson have spun.
Oh, disaster for the two of them.
44 seconds of penalties for Atom. I'm not quite sure that's right.
I think he must have got a few 10-second penalties there for the spin. But the man that's about to win the Portuguese Grand Prix, he's coming round the final corner to pick up his 2nd ever CRL win. It is the young Belgium of Wild Dog.
He just got a 3-second time penalty.
This could be crucial here. Mean Man Moody, 9.4, and he's just won it.
Oh my god,
he's
what a
just
tale of... Oh. Not to quote The Office, but how the turns could have tabled.
Absolutely. Hedgehog is looking to going to be the 4th person to cross the line, but with penalties will jump to P3, Drone down to P4, AFL down to P5 for now, because here comes Scott Gay, and he goes P4, dropping the 2 Alfa Romeos further down. Mark Wilson P7, a tale of what could have been for him. He had some great pace here, and Atomic getting another 5-second penalty. That could be a record, so I suppose there's a...
I think it is, but what a race by Scott Gay, by the way. Starting on those hards, going 20-something laps on those hards and finishing P4.
Absolutely brilliant result from him. Yeah, like you say, the only man to gamble on the hards, and it showed it paid off. I believe he started... I should be able to tell here quickly if I am quick with things. He, of course, did start in P12, up 8 positions to P4, so an absolute brilliant drive from him. And yeah, that has been it, the inaugural Portuguese Grand Prix. Riordan taking the 1st ever CRL pole, but the main thing to take here, the young Belgium of Wild Dog taking another victory.
Done.
What a
Just a
performance
running
from
joke.
him.
Well done, Wild Dog the Dutch. Wild Dog the Dutch.
Well done, Wild Dog the Dutch, indeed. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. But that'll be big points for Ferrari, who we, of course, earlier on seen have been struggling in the Constructors so far this season. But just to go over what we said, Wild Dog picking up the win from P2 on the grid, making that one-stop work. Mean Man Moody P2 from P11 on the grid, very strong performance, getting the fastest lap as well, a 19.2, so that'll be a bonus point seeing him not earn 33 points, but earn 34. And Hedgehog back on the podium once again, he will be happy with that, P5 to P3. But my man of the day, my driver of the day, has got to go to my namesake in Mr. Scott. This time being Scott Gay instead of Scott Freefall.
How did I know you were going to say that?
I just had to. P12 to P4. He's had a little bit of a topsy-turvy season, but a brilliant performance round here. Cool, calm, collected drive, no pens. Brilliant performance. Gets it from me. Drone, AFL, Mark Wilson, Ray Orden, BX37 Pro and Pre-Aero round off the top 10. Atomic dropping well down with them pens, unfortunately, but might see a few of them removed if he has race director footage, which, yeah, I won't have time to look at them now. I was quite curious to see the pens, but shall we see about some interviews, Dan?
Yeah, let's get them involved. Come on then, let's get them in.
Let's get the boys in. I'm hoping they should be familiar. They've all been pens before. Hedgehog has just before. Hedgehog has just Hedgehog has just sent me a message saying interview time, let's go. So I'll just tag them, of course, Hedgehog, Wild Dog, and Mean Man Moody. Yeah. Feel free to join the CRC IV chat. We'll hopefully get them in. But while we wait for them,
we've already got one, I believe.
We've already got one. Quick on the draw.
He's keen.
All right, boys.
How you doing, Hedge or Kez as well, otherwise known, I suppose. P3 today. Happy with that?
Yeah, that was the toughest race I've ever done, ever. Obviously, a brand new circuit. It's been out for like, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I've done I've done no practice because FIFA's been out. I've been hammering FIFA. And then obviously come round to tonight. I did 10 minutes of time trial before we started. Got a set up off you, I believe, Scott. So thank you for that. And then yeah, just sort of. I mean, obviously you'd have seen it on the stream. There was so many battles, and it was tough. Obviously, because you're not used to the circuit as well, and tough. I've never had a P3 encounter. I've had a P1 and a P2, so I've completed the podium hat trick now.
You've got the calm bingo. That's fine. Let's we'll get a packet of sweets for you.
No, I'm chuffed with that. Very chuffed. No penalties as well, which is, I believe there was quite a few penalties tonight, which helped me out.
It's good to see from you, mate. We were mentioning on the stream you are somebody that doesn't get too many penalties, so we were sort of keeping an eye on you all the way through that, and it seemed to pay off for you.
Yeah, it's like my little thing to be proud of. I had one penalty all season. I think I've had a 3-second penalty all season. That's it. Just like my little sort of thing to be proud of. I mean, I've had a tough couple of weeks. Obviously, Canada last week. I love the track, and it didn't go to plan. Yeah, it's been a miss for me so far this season, but that's a P1, a P2, and a P3 now. So no matter what happens, I'll take it. And I think a few of the boys around me slipped up tonight, didn't they? I think Melvin, Cammy, Harvey. So hopefully we can climb the ladder. But shout out to AFL and Atom and Mark and whoever else was around me, because they put me under so much pressure. It was mental.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you'll definitely climb up at least a few positions with the points. 28 points for you tonight for the P3. AFL, Mark Wilson, like you're saying, dropping points, so stand yourself in a better steading. But we'll move to the main man of tonight. Actually, no, we've got P2. We've got P2
don't
here.
You forget about him.
This is an honour, because Mean Man, you've been Mean Man Moody. I don't know what to call it. We'll go with Moody. You've been on the podium a few times this season. First interview. How did you find tonight? Of course, starting on the mediums, taking a very, very good stint to 21 laps, and then going on the softs. Must be very happy with that result again tonight.
Very happy, very happy. I didn't know the winner last that long, but I managed it, and look what happened. Even fastest lap and all.
Of course, you're only 41 points off the top going into this race. That'll be 33 points for P2, and then that bonus 1 point for the fastest lap sees you get 34. AFL did pick up a few, but it puts you right back up into that mix for this tasty championship battle we've got. You've been looking to kick on for the rest of the season, I'm assuming. I'm looking forward to watching you for the rest of the season. Congratulating on another podium. How did you find the track here tonight?
I've got to get more. I'm getting better now.
Well, definitely. You've, of course, I raced with you a few races last season, and can I say, every season, every race, even I've watched you, the improvement it's noticeable. Same with Hedgehog and Wild Dog. I think this is the perfect podium for.
They've all been good.
All three of you being with us for a while. As a head admin, it's good to. It's emotional. It's emotional seeing all you three here. It really is. I'm tearing up. I am.
It just shows how the regular racing and I suppose the wider community as well can help improve the racecraft. But we'll we go to the main man, DC. Do you want to ask him the question?
You go ahead, Scott. You've done such a good job all night. Why not?
Mr. Dutch, Mr. Kobe, Mr. Wild Dog, win number 2 for CRL. How are you feeling, mate?
I am feeling relieved since I'm not feeling so well. I have a throat infection at the moment, so I was coughing all over the place.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He's not supposed to be talking much, and we've got him here for an interview.
I was not really feeling confident to the race because obviously Portimao, the practice, I had a couple of spins, was pretty not so fast. Thought, right, this would be a goner.
A solid race tonight, mate. You must have been a bit shaky at the end there when you got that 3-second penalty right at the end, because Moody was only 9.4 behind you, and of course it was only 4 tenths between you at the end.
I was weaving across the start finish, and I thought, all right, let's do this to the right. Then I got appendix, like fuck. Hopefully this doesn't lose me the win.
Yeah, you should see the reaction at the end. Because I knew you were sat on 2 warnings in those last 3 laps. And then you go and do that. So if Moody, he would have been hot on your tail had that, that could have cost you. But luckily,
I must say, I also want to give a huge congrats to Moody and Hedge.
Thanks, Paolo, mate.
Thanks, Paolo. Good race.
It was very intense. Obviously, I got nearly collected in the collision with Cammy and Harvey. Managed to get away from that unscathed. I was pretty happy for that. Then the chase was on to try and catch the man, Hedgehog.
You smashed it. As soon as you was behind me, I knew it was only a matter of time until you got past me. And I just tried taking the softs to I did a 1-stop. I don't know how many more people did a 1-stop, but I did a 1-stop and it was tough. And then my tyres were just dying off on the softs.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to pit. I was thinking, when is Hedgehog gonna pit?
With a mix of 1 stops to about 4 or 5 stops tonight, just with the variety of spins and incidents, people losing front wings left, right and centre. But I think this could almost be the best result we've had for the championship because of AFL, Reverend Melvin, Mark Wilson, MUFC, Harvey all dropping points. Hedge getting 28, Mean Man Moody getting 34, and Wild Dog getting 40 puts you up to 104. That is bringing you right into this title fight. 7-way title fight here in Tier 3, and we're only halfway through the season. Could we see a 14-way title fight by the end? Maybe a little bit ambitious here, but if we can get a 7-way title fight all the way to the last Grand Prix, I don't think my nerves will hold up.
Yeah, I was also thinking to myself.
I don't think mine will.
I was on lap 11, I was thinking, should I do this some more laps? I thought, let's try get lap 15, then 1-stop to the end. And it worked out, and tires at the end were 50% nearing. So I was thinking, please don't spin.
I think you've got to give a shout out to the tier as a whole, because if you look back at the results so far, I think there's been 6 or 7 winners already, and the amount of different people.
We did that at the start. Don't you worry.
It's crazy. There you go. You've already done it. Didn't you research? No, but joking aside, the quality of this year so far, there's a long way to go, but the quality's been so high, and anybody can win a race genuinely. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see. I mean, you've seen it last year. J Bulls and Ryan Mills and Ben were unreal, and they bossed it. But this year, you're seeing much closer. And back here next week. I got a P2 there last year, so hopefully.
I think, how many races have there been this season? I think
it's been seven races, 6 different winners. Wild Dog, you're the only person to win 2. You're winning the wins chart at the moment. So you're firm favourite for Baku in my eyes here, mate. Go make it 3 out of 3.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at Baku. I got some pretty solid results. My last race got a P1 there. So
I
feeling
want that
confident.
first spot next time.
So feeling confident for Baku as well. So I hope Hedge does good as well. He said he got a P1 there, a P2 there last season. So hoping to see Hedge back on the podium again as well. Will be
Yeah,
amazing.
you guys, thank you. And well done to the commentators. Big shout out to Scott and
Yeah.
Beef. You got to do it on
Definitely.
Thursday. Boys. Pressure's on you two now. You've seen us do it.
We've seen how it's done. We'll have to go and replicate that. But thank you guys once again for joining us. We'll wrap it up here though before the stream goes on too long, because if not, Jacob will give me a little rap on the knuckles. But just before I do go, Hedge, you've got a little bit of love from the other half in the chat tonight, so I'll just I think you should go give her a phone and give her a thank you. But
Everyone loves
Shout out to
it.
Mrs. 21 today, so happy birthday to my missus.
there we go. Happy birthday to Mrs. Hedgehog. Turned 21 recently. There we go. But we'll round things off here, I think. Close the stream off very, very shortly. But I'd just like to say thank you, Dan, for joining me here tonight. You've been absolutely excellent in the cold box, as always.
Absolutely welcome, mate. I really enjoyed myself. Hopefully I'll be back very, very soon.
Definitely, we'll always have opportunities for you to step in, because you are such a